What's going on, guys? All Blitzel here, and today I'm back with a very special deck. This is the winning list from the Vancouver Regional Championships. Ian Robb managed to take the event down for his 5th regional win. Very impressive, definitely cementing himself as one of the top upcoming rising star players, even though it feels like he's been a master for a while, but 5 regional wins already. Wow, so very impressive. And this is the exact same list he ran to a 9th place finish at Knoxville just a couple weeks prior. And I would say if you're looking for just like a cookie cutter optimal Lugia, then here it is. The only like sort of tech card that's like unusual or not standard, I would say, is the Escape Rope, which is still nice. Like, you have quite a few starters that are awkward to move, such as Oranguru, Pumpkaboo, Radiant Charizard, even Raikou can sometimes be awkward. So it's definitely a nice card to have. Also can like serve as a pseudo Gust card or basically be an Irida out to Gust in certain spots. So it's definitely a pretty solid card, and I would definitely recommend this list to anyone who's wanting to play Lugia. Lugia just truly is one of the greatest decks of all time, one of the most dominant decks of that, probably since ADP, probably the most dominant deck since ADP. But yeah, pretty much everything has been said about Lugia. I'm not really gonna go too in depth to any of these cards. Have quite a few battles here, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the battles. Alright, getting into our first game here. Luckily we mulligan because this hand is quite dreadful. 5 energies, no draw supporters, no Archeops, no ball search cards, so certainly okay mulliganing. Very poor hand. And took our opponent a little bit, but they finally decided they didn't want to bench anything else. This hand, not great. We're going to capture for our Lugia, and then like have this Ultra Ball find a Lumineon, unless our top deck really helps us out, which it did not. So I'll capture to the active, Ultra Ball out Boss and Archeops, grab that Lumineon, and get Archeops into this card pile. Always nice to do that in case we get our hand disrupted. Then we will capture, find that Lugia V. Nothing super meaningful prized. I'll pass on over to my opponent. This is Mew, so I could get punished by a Path to the Peak. I'm hoping that does not happen. Definitely could have benched the Lumineon and grabbed the supporter. Probably would have been the smart thing to do. I don't want to bench it if I didn't have to. But yeah, could definitely get punished if our opponent has that Path to the Peak. There's a Start Alchemy. Probably finding another Battle VIP pass. No, a Judge. That's okay, because we were going to just draw cards anyway, and this is not okay. This hand's pretty bad. We need this Oranguru to really help us out. Opponent getting a fully loaded bench, so quite the solid setup from them. Escape Rope is sort of welcome because it means we don't have to commit an energy chip to the Raikou just to retreat. There goes the Cross Switcher on the Chromatic. Another +4 with Genesect. Because I have Choice Belt and Double Turbo on the Mew. Still not done though. Discarding Oricorio. 2 more cards. That's it for them. So we need Oranguru to be really kind to us. I'm going to put the Radiant Charizard on top. Lumineon is very nice. We can find a Professor's Research and hopefully find a Lugia VSTAR on the other side of this, and we do. So this is awesome. We can take this knockout. Definitely be pretty awkward for our opponent to take out back, because we can put the V-Guard energy on, and then we're looking to be in a pretty good spot. I'll put on just a couple capture energies. Not going to commit the powerfuls just yet, because I could want to put them on Archeops later on, or I could just load them all up on the Lugia next turn. Just leave all options open. We'll take the knockout on that Mew V. And this is pretty much a do or die turn from my opponent. They either take this knockout and we have a game, or they don't and we just win. Which is sort of what's so amazing about Lugia, is it's like sort of effortless for them to get 2 Archeops into the discard pile, plus Lugia VSTAR to set them up. And now my opponent has to respond to this right away, or just gets so much value for so little effort. And that's what truly makes Lugia such a powerful deck. And I feel like I say this every time I talk about Lugia, but without his powerful supporting cast, if attackers that are very efficient and effective in many different scenarios, or being able to easily get Archeops down, or have even post-rotation, Lugia is not going to be able to threaten one-hit knockouts. Unfortunately, our Lugia does go down, but I don't think Lugia is going to be nearly as good. Don't get me wrong, Lugia is still going to be a viable deck. It just won't be S tier, or debatably the best deck of all time. But I think this will be like a solid tiered 1 we'll probably still be in tier 1. I haven't played enough post rotation to really know how it really is. We hit an energy after Prime Wisdom, and that's pretty clutch because now I was planning on using Aqua Return, but since we hit the energy, I actually can Amazing Destruction and take this knockout. So definitely a fortunate top deck. So we can then retreat, Amazing Destruction, and then we have Boss's Orders with this Lumineon on the following turn to. While we don't have enough powerfuls to use Archeops to take a knockout, but we do have Quick Ball to find Radiant Charizard. So I guess if we bench Lumineon, then we don't have space for Radiant Charizard, but we'll find a way. Our opponent cannot. I mean, regardless, we can put the Lumineon back into the deck with Aqua Return, and then follow it up later, or just have a Boss Orders to close out this game. Either like this is just why this is like a perfect game to show why Lugia is so good. It gets its Pokemon down, and it like trades so efficiently that I take a three prize knockout with a single prizer, and you can't just ignore that single prize. Like you have to take a bad trade just to stay in the game, which is what makes Lugia so good. And I have so many single prizers that can just that is just so efficient in the prize trade. So I will attach a couple energies. I will Prime Wisdom that Vacuum on top. I could have hit Boss's Orders and then won the game. Unfortunately, we did not, so no big deal. We will just Aqua Return. I'll go back into the Raikou. And now I don't have any 2 prizes sitting on my board. And we're looking good to close out this game next turn with either Charizard, Archeops, or really, we have several options here. So our opponent is going to do Ultra Lot of Boss's Orders. Echoing Horn could make this interesting because then they will have 2 prize cards, or 1 prize card left. So if we can't find it next turn, like I think Echoing Horn, Cross Switchers, Path to the Peak, Roxanne, then things get pretty interesting. But just a Marnie, and we hit a Choice Belt, which means this Archeops can take a knockout next turn if they leave this damaged Mew in the active spot, which would be sort of hilarious to close out a game with Archeops. Cross Switchers, just putting up the Oranguru? Why would you take out an Archeops? I have no idea, but either way, we'll be taking this game. I don't think it mattered too much because we just find Radiant Charizard to close out this game fairly easily. We do have 2 powerful energies left, so we can hit 160 plus 30, do 190 with Speed Wing, and take this game. Definitely should have taken the Archeops out, in my opinion. Would have made it a little harder for me to find that knockout, but either way, we are taking that game. And then on to the next one here. We were going first, which dream scenario with Lugia going first. This hand, though, on 3 Auroras, Radiant Charizard opening, definitely pretty tough. Luckily, we're getting some mulligans, and a lot of them. 4 mulligans certainly makes us go from bad to should be good here. Yeah, much improved. Even Incense, Ultra Double Archeops, Lumineon, Lugia VSTAR against an Arceus deck of some sort. This hand went from dreadful to phenomenal with just those 4 mulligans. It was Arceus Duraludon based on those mulligans. I will attach an Aurora Energy to the active and discard my Stoutland because it'll make my Charizard easier to move next turn, or even can attack with Radiant Charizard if the situation is right. I have Boss's Orders and Lugia in hand, so I can pressure Duraludon V that they drop. So if I don't get Marnied, I think I probably win the game. Like, just sort of hilarious to say that I win the game the second turn, but that's just how Standard feels, and how Lugia feels, because it's just so it's just so fast and efficient, and then you really have to you can't really give Lugia any advantage. Like, you just gave me 4 free cards, which makes me, yeah, I just gust your Duraludon and knock you out, and then my prize map just gets so much easier. And they dropped the Parasol as well, so we're going to take the Parasol out of play. Normally, if I set up 2 Duraludons with a Parasol on each of them, the game's over. But if we just go first, and sometimes we just draw better, and we just take out those Duraludons before they can evolve, there's not a whole lot opponent can do about it. Like, my opponent didn't do anything wrong in this game, aside from mulliganing 4 times. And this is why Lugia is just so good. Like, these games are just a statement to why Lugia is so good, because it just does what it wants to so efficiently and consistently. And it's it's like the best single price I can format and the best multi-price I can format at the same time, which is sort of funny. So we can just down the deck, Combustion Blast for the knockout. V-Guard Energy is a cute card to put on the Charizard because now it cannot get one shot by the Arceus. They'll hit for 150 with that Trinity Nova. So it does, I mean, I can get more value out of this Radiant Charizard down the line. There's an Ultra Ball that's going to find that Arceus V-Star. But I've been repeating myself so many times, but like this is why Lugia is so good, because there's not a lot my opponent can do. Like maybe they have Mustard. That could be one way that they could stay in the game, but still I Parasol Yveltal in my back pocket that I can pull out later to KO that Duraludon. Now, they did not misplay, but I went first. They gave me an advantage by giving me 4 extra cards, and I was able to capitalize, and not a whole lot my opponent can do about it. And that's it's like a testament to how strong Lugia is, and like it's truly one of the greatest decks of all time, and it's definitely a lot more fun to play than previous BDAFs. Like I always thought ADPZ was pretty boring to play. Even like, I mean, Turbo Dark was generally pretty fun. Trying to think of other dominant BDAFs. Toad wasn't always the funnest deck to play. Especially like those Toad Shaman, Lysander Trump card decks. I never cared for those back. That's like pretty much right when I started. A little bit before that's when I started, and I never really cared for that. Donphan was my first serious competitive deck. I took it to cities way back in the day. Good times. I love Donphan. That was after Furious Fist came out, and got Strong Energy, Fighting Stadium, Hawlucha. And now Donphan has been way power crept out. Like it'd be cool if this card like that could ever be good ever again, but that spinning turn for 40s never. Back when you could 40 buff it up to like 100 damage with Muscle Bend, Fighting Stadium, and Strong Energy. How about the Gust on Duraludon again? And they scoop. And I'm against Yoshi again. If you watch my video from yesterday, I faced him yesterday as well, which is sort of hilarious that I faced him in back-to-back videos. So I promise it's not, I did not ask him to play with me. It was just a quirk of the ladder. I'm probably going to keep bumping into the same people over and over again as more and more people migrate. I saw Zapdos TCG migrated today on a stream. Man, I'm going to stick it out here till the bitter end. I'm still got a couple weeks left, and then don't know what we're going to do, but we'll find a way. I'm going to just put the double turbo on the active and research. Need to find a backup Lugia V. We do, and a V-Star. This hand, we can definitely work with this. I will read the wind out one of these quick balls. Can definitely work with this. Hopefully we don't get judged. Lots of energies, but yeah. Choice belts and a judge. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what was your first competitive deck that you played? Like I said, mine was Donphan. I'm trying to think of some other ones I played early on. I played Night March at my first ever Nationals. What else did I play? My first ever deck I did very well with was Mega Rayquaza. And then Rainbow Road is one of my favorite decks of all time. I did make a short of my favorite decks of all time. Rainbow Road's obviously up there. Mega Rayquaza's up there. Decidueye Swan is up there. That was one of my favorite decks during the pandemic era. I don't know. I just feel like I liked Pokemon when I first started, because just in those lower age divisions, like you just sort of like it because you're good at it, not because necessarily you like the game that much. But I would say that the pandemic is one of the best things that could have happened. I really rediscovered my love for deck building and playing the game. And I feel like sometimes you just get lost in the grind of like, I'm going to be going for Worlds and I'm going to keep playing and playing and playing. But like, I took a little break after the pandemic started. I played a League Cup. That was like weeks before the shutdown. And then I took a couple months off before finally coming back and playing Limitless. And that's when I didn't have like instant success, but on my first Limitless tournament, I didn't realize you had to check in before that, so I forgot to check in and I just dropped because I was confused how it worked. And my second one, I made it all the way to top 8, and then I tried to play Limitless every night after that, and I feel like Limitless, I don't know if I'd still be playing Pokemon today if it weren't for Limitless. I mean, not having Pokemon for like 3 years not like 3 years, but like 2 years during the COVID shutdown. I don't know if me and a lot of other players would still be doing this. Yeah, Limitless's contributions to the Pokemon TCG are just so immeasurable. That Robin and all that goes into that website, they're truly one of the most valuable resources the community's ever had. I mean, their deck website, the OG Limitless TCG website, is still one of the best websites, and it's been around for forever. But Play Limitless probably saved my Pokemon career. I don't think I'd probably be making content today if it were not for Play Limitless. And of course, now that I'm making content, I don't have quite as much time to play on there. I still try to get on there when I can, when I get ahead on uploads and things like that. But definitely, how I'm super grateful for what all that Robin has done for the community. He's not only one of the best European players and the best players in the world. I mean, he has a world championship, but just all that he's done through Limitless is just it's awesome. And I would say that, yeah, a lot of those early Sword and Shield metagames weren't too bad either. Like, ADP was dominant, and that made the game sort of unfun, but there were other decks that were pretty cool, like Donphan Spirit Team was pretty fun. Of course, I loved my Mewtwo and Mew, Real Blue. I was probably the first player to really play that deck. I brought it all the way to a top 8 during one of the Limitless Majors. That was like really the highlight of my pandemic era. Yeah, pretty much the highlight of my pandemic era was top cutting that Limitless Major. Yes. And then after that, Arceus Gyarados, really, when I won that late night with it. I still love Arceus Gyarados. It's one of my favorite decks. It is my favorite deck of all time, I would say. It's just because we'll take that dub there. I'm sorry I'm not really casting for these games and more so just reminiscing on days past, but if you have any decks that, like, if you made it this far into the video, all 17 minutes of me sort of casting these games, let me know in the comments what your favorite deck of all time was, and why you like that deck so much. It doesn't have to be the best deck ever, the most competitive deck. Just let me know why you like. Just let me know why you like it. Could just be your first deck you ever brought to a tournament. Could be your first ever big placement. Just whatever it is. I'm really curious to know that. I don't know how many long time. Like, I know the game has just grown so tremendously during the pandemic phase, and like the regionals hitting seemingly every regional hits a new all-time attendance record. So I'd be intrigued to know, like, how many of my players, or how many of my viewers have been players, like, before 2019. Because I'd be just intrigued to know, like, how much turnover the player base has had in general. Because, like, you see, like, when you just look at top 8 of a regional, like, you see a lot of old names from pretty much since the very beginning. But it seems like every tournament you see a couple new names that you hadn't heard before in there. And I think that's pretty cool. That there's always old, but there's always new, and that's what I like about the Pokemon trading card games, is there's, like, so many good players, and, like, pretty much any one player can take down one of those events. I mean, especially when they all play Lugia, but there's so many talented players right now, and with the age of information and deck sharing, like, it's really hard to have, like, a truly secret deck, which sort of levels the playing field a little bit, and just truly makes it. I mean, of course, there's always going to be luck involved when there's drawing cards and flipping coins, but okay, we can actually Summoning Star and take out their Lugia. We can Archeops for 1, just broken deck where I don't even need to set up properly just to still dominate my opponent. So yeah, we didn't hit a draw supporter, or I don't really want to. Like, if I Ultra Ball for Lumineon, I maybe can't take this knockout. So I'm just going to take this guaranteed knockout. I just think I'm so far ahead if I do take this knockout. I don't need to drop the Choice Belt. That is a slight misplay. Overkill on my end, but it's fine. I think just taking out their lone Lugia pretty much, I think, seals the deal right off. Turn 2, game over. Like, Man, as someone who's played the game since X and Y era, and you had N for a majority of that span, even more recently having Reset Stamp, it's kind of frustrating to look back and see like, look back at old formats, and you play this format and you're like, dang, there's like nothing my opponent can do, and it's turn 2. Like I said this in my previous video, but just watching that 2013 Worlds show match on the Vancouver stream, just really made me miss N even more, because it's just truly it's like, I think the best comeback card ever made by Pokemon. I don't think there's one better. Or, I mean, of course Reset Stamp is an item card, but N is also a draw supporter that can get you 6 fresh new cards and limit your opponent to 1 or 2. Like, I remember a while back I was playing at an old format tournament, and I mean, just like, I think it was NAIC 2017, I want to say, and just like playing as like Drampa Garb with N is just like, you didn't like it in those days. Like, N Toxin was just so broken. Like, now now that they're gone, you miss them. It's kind of funny how that works. You didn't miss them until they were gone. So now we're against Lost Fox this game. My opponent's gonna retreat into the Comfey. I really wish I had the resources to like host old format tournaments, or if people are even interested in that, because I thoroughly enjoy, like, especially early X and Y era, early Sun and Moon era. Like, those were when I was playing Pokemon cards a ton. I'd get up every morning at like 6 o'clock, and I just play Pokemon cards until breakfast. And those were the days. But, yep. Now we have responsibilities, but that's alright. I'm not gonna really miss ptcgo, because I just like poured so many hours in this account to get it to where it is. I'm going to take a final screenshot before I migrate, and just how many days I put into this account. Like, I think it's probably close to 190 days total played on this account. Like, and that's not just like times logged on. That's like 24 hours. That's like 190 times 24. So I've played a lot of Pokemon cards. I'm sure there's people with more impressive numbers than me, but I'm just pretty proud of how much I played for how long. I know I shared it in one of my older news videos, but oh man, I'm gonna miss this. Like, I know the game has changed since I first started playing in, what was that, 2014, 2015, but I still am gonna miss this. This is just, it's just a part of, it's been a part of my life a lot growing up, is just playing Pokemon TCG Online after school and in the morning before school. And now it's going to be gone, but that's okay. Got to move on to hopefully bigger and better things. Hopefully I'm sure TCG Live will get right eventually. I'm not super optimistic to where it's going to be in the short term, but I think long term will be alright. I know that's sort of a change in outlook compared to how I was in my video, but I'm confident that maybe not in the short term, but Pokemon will get it. We'll get a hold of things. So we're gonna Gust and KO the Manaphy. I'm not super worried about getting knocked out back. Of course, I could get punished hard by like a Raikou or some other lightning Pokemon like a Zeraora or a. But they already like lost. I mean, they lost some of the amazing rare Rayquaza. So this could. I mean, I could get punished hard by a Rayquaza, but it is what it is. If that happens, I can just respond back with an Archeops. Yeah. So I might. I'm like really scared about the future though. Like, how will content creation be affected by TCG Live? Are people even gonna watch it in like the immediate aftermath? Like, I'm sure there are going to be people, because it'll be the only option. But I'm just like really concerned, like how many people are just be like, nah, I'm done with this. This game is bad, and I'll just leave. Because there's certainly gonna be people that do that, who aren't super committed to Pokemon and just like sort of play it casually, and they're just not gonna want to do it because it's just not fun. And if like you're committed and competitive, it's not really going to change you very much, or very many people at least. But if you're casual, I definitely can see a lot of the casual player base becoming less and less invested in the Pokemon trading card game, which is really sad because I feel like a lot of my better videos are more casual, fun, trolly meme decks, and I think that like Little Dark Fury, like, this is not a knock on him, but his channel is basically built on playing more fun and casual decks, kind of like Dark Integral Gaming, and I don't know if those kind of content will be as, I'm sure it's still going to be watched, but like how to what extent is it going to suffer? Because I'm sure it will, because TCG Live is just such a worse game and just very, very, very unpleasant to watch as it currently is, and hopefully that's not the case in 3 weeks, but I'm not super optimistic that it will be. We're going to get Raikou, so this is not good. I was hoping to save my Powerfuls for my Stoutland, but I might have to use them on Archeops just to respond back. I just got my Radiant Charizard. Stoutland's prized, so yeah, I think we're just going to have to end this guy, 3 prizes on the Lugia. Now we go from having a pretty nice lead to definitely struggling a bit. So like, Lugia is not invincible. Lost Box is definitely one of its more interesting matchups. Yveltal, I think, is just too big of an investment. I can just Lumineon for Irida and grab my belt and take this knockout. I'll grab the Raikou, I guess. I don't really need any of these pieces, though. I just want to thin out the deck. So I guess I'll grab Raikou. I have everything in play. Then I will Primal Turbo, put both Powerfuls on the active Archeops, and then I will Primate Wisdom. I definitely should have stacked something other than this Lumineon, but I stacked the Lumineon. Don't think it matters too much, but I think I should have held on to the Lumineon. I guess I can just grab it right back out. But we'll get Manaphy into the hand. I'll grab a powerful colorless energy, because I do need it to take this knockout. I'm only hitting 190 without the powerful, so I have to attach it. Unfortunately, would like to keep it around, but I guess, I mean, you want to have at least 2 if you're going to be using Archeops, or using Stoutland anyway. So basically rules out Stoutland as an option, but if my opponent cannot take this knockout, I will Aqua Return for my second to last prize, and then I should just be able to win on the next turn. Like, I can drop Manaphy to prevent any Kyogre plays, and I think we should be alright. Like, if they can take a knockout here with, like, they can bring back the Raikou, or they can use Rayquaza, or an amazing rare Raikou, then things will get interesting. But if they miss the knockout this turn, I think we have this game. So there is another Comfey getting dropped. And also I can Marnie them and potentially make life difficult that way if they do even if they do take this knockout, because their hand is rather large. Zigzagoon and Grass Energy heading to the Lost Zone. And they have a Escape Rope. And I'll just go back into the other Archeops. I don't want to go back into the Oranguru because it'll be tough to move, because I'm going to want to go back into the Lumineon this turn. And if I had to play Rope, then they can just bring up that Radiant Greninja, which will be tough for my Lumineon to knock out. And then I'll have to play Boss just to take a prize card. So I want to keep all my options open. And then I'll scoop up a net. My opponent is still digging around, trying to find the pieces to take this knockout. They go into the Cram. So they're just going to spit into this Archeops. If they do... Oh, they bent the Raikou Amazing Rare. Concealed cards. So there's 7 cards left in deck. They can't have too many energies left. There's a Colress all the way down to 2, so they're not gusting Lumineon, which is definitely a sigh of relief. I bet that what they were trying to really dig for was have the pieces to gust up and KO that Lumineon, but they did not quite get there, so I think we are fine, as long as they can't take out this Archeops. If they get let's take an amazing shot and win the game, potentially. Ooh, I just realized that. They can win if they find the pieces. Maybe I should have brought up Oranguru then. Because then, oh, they just conceded. They must have been short the knockout. So that's all I got for today. Once again, Lugia is truly going to be, I think, on the Mount Rushmore for greatest decks of all time. Everything's said and done. Especially in this meta game. Still several tournaments left to go, and it's not slowing down. And I keep thinking to myself, surely someone's going to come up with a way to beat Lugia, but I don't think that exists. And I don't know what happened to Aerodactyl. The deck is just ditched Cologne. So I guess maybe someone just needs to break out my Dracovish deck and start winning games. Man, too bad I'm not going to tournaments, because that'd be a fun deck just to bring out, because like that deck has a very solid Lugia matchup, especially not playing Cologne. And I was sort of surprised not to see any Vikavolt this past weekend in Vancouver. But if you made this far in the video, I just thank you so much for watching. Truly, all your support. Just my channel would not be here without all your guys' support. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow with the Vancouver list if they finally upload them. But no guarantees. Is Arcanine, sometimes I feel like they're like hours after the tournament, they're already live. And this time it's taking them a little bit longer, which is it's completely fine. So hopefully we'll be back on Wednesday with Vancouver deck lists. If not, we'll have probably another Vancouver deck, likely the second place Goodra list. But once again, I thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been All Up Blitzel, and I'll catch you in the next one.